What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to another video. In today's video, what I want to talk to you about is the soft skills that make you dangerous. And the thing is that you need to understand these skills because in this market, it's a dog eats dog world. And so before I get into this video, what I want to say is I have an ebook that I created that has every single thing that I've learned in my career about this topic. And it's literally $100,000 worth of value for just $20. So if you like this video and if you're serious and you're tired of feeling like you're chasing clients or you don't know how to keep clients when you get them or you're struggling to earn 10K a month and you want to know the secrets, then go get the book. I promise you it's the most valuable thing that I've created since my course came out 5 years ago, right? Okay. So the first thing I want to start by saying is something that Jordan Peterson always talks about. And he always talks about this concept of becoming a dangerous person. And you become dangerous when you basically you sharpen your skills around a specific thing that makes you more competent than other people. And you're not necessarily competent because you use it, but you're competent because you can use it, right? And you can choose whether or not to use it at that specific moment. So if you think about martial artists, the reason why they are so competent and the reason why they are dangerous is not because they go around trying to fight everyone, because they have discipline, because they're dangerous, right? But the reason why they're so competent is because they know how to do it, right? And so the person who knows how to, use a sword but chooses not to, unless they absolutely have to, is way more dangerous than the person who just wants to fight everyone or just wants to, or just doesn't know anything, right? And so a lot of people misconfuse this whole thing of, you're good because, like, for example, one of the things that you might need to be good at is being assertive. And some people think that they're better than other people, as character, as personally wise, because they're not going out there trying to argue with people, or they're not going out there trying to insult other people, or they're not going out there trying to basically fight for something, right? And that doesn't really mean that you're better than that person. I mean, if you involuntary will to be able to act upon as desired when needed is not competence. There's nothing to you, right? You're only competent when you're dangerous and you choose to not use it, right? And so that's what I want to talk to you about. And so the thing is, if we look at me, for example, when I first got into this skill, I was someone who was coming off of working as a security guard for 5 years. And so the things that I lost, that I had gained probably in high school, but then I ended up losing, were things like communication skills, right? Because when you work as a security guard, you don't communicate with people that frequently, right? And so, I didn't realize that I was losing this, but just not talking and being isolated by myself eventually showed me that this is something I was losing. And so the thing is that I thought because, I'm this, I could fight or whatever, or maybe because I chose not to speak to people, that it made me cool. But in reality is that I just didn't know how to do this. And so it made me incompetent, right? When it came to competent. When it came to the real world, right? And so I quickly was able to understand that when I finally got into the real world, when I had to communicate ideas and stuff like that, and I realized that I couldn't speak a lick. And that was a huge issue. And it made me look less than the people that were able to do this, even if I understood the technical skills way more than them. And I'm sure you've been through this too. You've probably been in a situation where you know more than the person that's speaking, but you can't articulate yourself as good as them. And so as a result, nobody listens to you, right? And that's because this skill is what fosters leadership. I mean, there's other skills too, right? But this is directly connected to whether or not people will listen to you. This is directly connected to the influence that you will have on others. And if you can't do this, right? If you can't do this, you will be seen as incompetent. So what are some things that you can, add into your everyday speak to learn how to communicate better? Or what are some things that you can do in order to improve your communication skills? Well, number one, you have to understand frameworks and learn how to speak in frameworks. So one framework that I often use, this is my go-to one, I'm going to write it above this, is something called the CAR method, right? The reason why I call it the CAR method is because it's actually pretty easy to remember if you think about it like a car, and it's something that you should always try doing. And I was actually talking to a client about this the other day, telling them that they need to incorporate this in their speech. I'm just going to write underneath here. It stands for challenge, right? Action, and then result, right? And so you're like, what does this matter? Well, I'm gonna tell you right now. Let's say I'm working on a huge project for Chase Bank, and Chase Bank wants to, improve their non-branded search traffic and make sure that they get more, generate more awareness for their brand than the number of branded searches that's going to their website, right? So this is a challenge that they have right now, right? The challenge is that majority of the traffic that goes to Chase Bank's website is branded. And so that means that most of the people that go to their website already know who they are for the most part, or perhaps came through some type of, advertising platform that eventually learned who they were, but then went to Google and searched in Chase Bank, right? And so they want to be exposed to people who have no idea who they are at all so that they can continue to grow and continue to get their products out there to a brand new market that they haven't even served yet. So that's the challenge. The challenge is Chase Bank wants to expand their non-branded market and rank for non-branded keywords so that they can get more brand new people to their business, right? The action is, as a result of knowing this, now we know that we have to perform keyword research, identify what people are searching for and how they search when it comes to looking for credit cards or anything like that. Like, what is the verbiage that they use? What are the terminologies? What are the places that they pay attention to, right? Places outside of Chase that perhaps we can make strategic partnerships or strategic connections with so that we can get Chase mentioned in those places for those specific, non-branded searches, right? Perhaps like on a affiliate blog or something, or like a blogger on YouTube who's reviewing this stuff, right? So challenge, they want to expand their non-branded awareness. Action, as a result, we started doing some research to figure out what were the top places that they could be mentioned in, what keywords they needed to target, and so on and so forth. After doing that, we put together a plan of action and started creating the content assets, making the strategic partnerships. And the result was that they were able to increase their traffic by, 80% from non-branded users, right? And so, think about if you're in a meeting and you say something like this, people are going to look at you way different than if you just are all over the place with your thoughts. And so that's why you need to understand speaking frameworks. Because speaking frameworks help you to articulate yourself because it keeps you structured, right? And nobody wants to listen to somebody who's unstructured. So that's one speaking framework that I'll give you, but there's way more things like this that go over this stuff just in general in the book, right? And so the second thing that you have to pay attention to or learn is listening, right? And there's way more, but I'm just going over these because these are very important. So you can't accomplish anything for anyone if you can't listen to what their problems are. And this expands through multiple things. This expands to marketing, right? This expands to sales. This expands to even if we're not talking about even if we're not talking about business, relationships, right? And by the way, I've said this before, but we're in the game of B2P, right? Business to people. So forget all that B2B shit that you heard of. At the end of the day, it's a whole bunch of people making a decision behind whatever it is that you're trying to sell. And so relationships, this marketing is a game of relationships. Marketing is a game of human connection. Marketing is a game of empathy, right? And so like you need to be able to listen to problems, to solve them. Because at the end of the day, fundamentally what we are problem solvers. We're not marketers, we're problem solvers, right? And so that's what you need to be, right? And so this is very, 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 very important, okay? And another skill that you need to have, this is simple, but you need to be able to take notes, right? And like you will, I'm telling you, you never like this stuff is so like common sense, but notes are so important because notes reinforce both of these. When you're talking to someone, if you take notes, number one, you'll be able to remember what they said better. You'll be able to effectively communicate what they said better. And you'll be a much better listener, right? And so like, because all of your focus is on this, it will help you to improve communication, right? And listening. And like, I'm telling you guys, like, if you learn how to become better at all of these things, doesn't matter if you start off as a Facebook ads expert, you start off as an SEO expert, you start off as a fucking doctor, doesn't matter, right? This is translatable to any skill. And this compounds over time. These stack. So, I mean, that's all I wanted to talk to you about today. These are the, there's more soft skills in the book, but, soft skills make you dangerous. And when I started to learn this, that's when I made a complete shift in, what I was able to accomplish in my career. Thanks a lot for watching. Peace.